The word of Adonai came to me, human being, prophesy against the prophets of Israel who prophesy. Tell those prophesying out of their own thoughts, listen to what Adonai says. Adonai Elohim says, woe to the vile prophets who follow their own spirits and things which they have not seen. Israel, your prophets have been like jackals among ruins. You, prophets, have not gone up to the breaks in the barricade, or repaired it for the house of Israel, so that they can stand fast in battle on the day of Adonai. Their visions are futile, and their divination is false. They say, Adonai says, when Adonai has not sent them. Yet they hope that the word will be confirmed. However, you had a futile vision and spoken a false divination when you say, Adonai says, I have not spoken. Therefore, here is what Adonai Elohim does say. Adonai, because you have spoken futilities and seen falsehoods, therefore I am against you, says Adonai Elohim. My hand will be against the prophets who have futile visions and produce false divinations. They will not be allowed to enter the council of my people, or to be written in the register of the house of Israel, or enter the land of Israel. And you will know that I am Adonai Elohim. They deserve this, because they have led my people astray by saying, there is peace when there is no peace. If someone builds a wall without mortar, they plaster it with whitewash to make it appear strong. Tell these plasters that a cloudburst is coming with huge hailstones and gale force winds. The wall will fall down. When people will ask you, where is the whitewash you use to plaster it? Therefore Adonai Elohim says, in my rage I will cause gale force winds to break out. And in my anger there will come a cloudburst with huge hailstones to consume it in fury. This is how I will break down the wall you covered with whitewash. I will smash it to the ground so that its foundation will be revealed. The wall will fall down. You will be consumed with it. Then you will know I am Adonai. In this way I will spin my fury in the wall and on those who covered it with whitewash, and I will say to you, the wall is gone, so are those who plastered it. That is, the prophets of Israel who prophesy about Jerusalem and see visions of peace for her when there is no peace, says Adonai Elohim. You, human being, turn your face against the daughters of your people who prophesy out of their own thoughts. Prophesy against them. Tell them that Adonai Elohim says, woe to the women who sew magic pads all the arm joints and put veils over the people of all sizes in order to hunt human lives. Will you hunt down the lives of my people while you keep your own lives safe? You dishonor me before my people in a few handfuls of barley and crumbs of bread, killing people who should not die, sparing those who should not live, by your lying to my people who love hearing lies. Therefore, here is what Adonai Elohim says. I am against your pads, with which you hunt human lives like birds. I will tear them from your arms, let the lives go. Yes, the human lives that you hunt like birds. I will also tear your veils and rescue my people from your clutches, so that they will no longer be in your power for you to hunt. And you will know that I am Adonai, because you have disheartened the righteous with your lies. I was not trying to cause them pain, having encouraged the wicked not to turn from their wicked ways and thus be saved. Therefore you will have no futile visions. You will produce no more divinations. I will rescue my people from your clutches. You will know that I am Adonai. Then certain of Israel leaders came to me. While they were sitting with me, the word of Adonai came to me. Human being, these men have taken their idols into their hands, thus setting in front of themselves a stumbling block that leads to sin. Should I let them consult me at all? Therefore speak to them and tell them that Adonai Elohim says, everyone in the house of Israel who takes his idol into his heart, thus setting in front of himself the stumbling block that leads to sin, and then comes to the prophet, I myself, Adonai, will answer him in the manner suited to his many idols, in order to grab hold of the house of Israel in their hearts, since through their idols they have all fallen away from me. Therefore, say to the house of Israel that Adonai Elohim, repent. Turn yourselves away from your idols. Turn your faces away from all your disgusting practices. Everyone, whether from the house of Israel or a foreigner living in Israel, who separates himself from me and takes his idol into his heart, thus setting in front of himself a stumbling block that leads to sin, then comes to the prophet asking him to consult me for him, I myself, Adonai, will answer him. I will set my face against that person, make him a warning sign, an example, and cut him off from my people. Then you will know that I am Adonai. Now, whenever a prophet is enticed into speaking a word, it will be I, Adonai, who will have enticed that prophet. I will stretch out my hand over him and destroy him from among my people. Prophets will bear the guilt of their sins. The sin of the prophet will be the same as the sin of the inquirer, so that the house of Israel will no longer wander away from me or defile themselves with all their crimes. Rather, they will be my people, and I will be their God, says Adonai Elohim. The word of Adonai came to me, human being. When a land sins against me by dealing treacherously with me, so that I stretch out my hand over it and break off its food supply, sending it famine and eliminating both its humans and its animals, even if these three men were in it, Noah, Daniel, and Avov, they would by their righteousness save only themselves, says Adonai Elohim. If I unleash wild beasts in the land, they kill its children and desolate it, so that no one can pass through because of the animals, even if these three men were alive. As I live, says Adonai Elohim, they would save neither sons nor daughters, only they themselves will be saved, and the land would remain barren. Or if I bring the sword down on that land, saying, let the sword pass through the land, so that it eliminate both its humans and its animals, even if these three men were in it, as I live, says Adonai Elohim, they would save neither sons nor daughters, only they themselves would be saved. Or if I bring a plague into the land and pour out my fury on it in bloodshed, so that I eliminate both its humans and its animals, even if Noah, Daniel, and Ayov were in it and live, says Adonai Elohim, they would neither save nor son or daughter. They would save only themselves by their righteousness. For here is what Adonai Elohim says, even if I inflict my 4 dreadful judgments on Jerusalem, sword, famine, wild animals, and plagues, to eliminate both its humans and its animals, there will still be left a remnant in it to be brought out, including both sons and daughters. When they come out to you, and you see their way of life and how they act, you will be consoled over the calamity I have brought upon Jerusalem, over everything I have done to it. Yes, they will console you when you see their way of life and how they act, and you will understand it was not without good reason that I did what I did in Jerusalem, says Adonai Elohim. The word of Adonai came to me, human being. Why should wood from a grapevine be better than any other kind of wood, and some branch than one might find among the trees of the forest? Its wood can't be used to make anything, not even a pin on which to hang a pot. So now it is thrown into the fire as fuel. The fire consumes both ends of it, and in the middle of it is singed. It is useful now for making something. When it was a whole, it was good for nothing. So how much less when the fire has consumed it and it is singed? Will it be useful for making something? So Adonai Elohim says this, like wood from the vine among the trees of the forest, which I consign to the fire as fuel, so I will get those living in Jerusalem. I will set my face against them. Then they may have escaped one fire. But the fire will consume them yet. When I set my face against them, you will know that I am Adonai. And I will make the land desolate, because they have dealt so treacherously, says Adonai Elohim.